If you were given the chance to receive something that would, in the long term, protect you from harm and dangerous activities going on within your body, would you take it? Would you trust the medical professionals and science to put something that they created into your body that in the long term would protect you, as they say? Like many Americans in this time of the year and in this time in our history, I'm thinking and planning about getting the COVID-19 vaccination when it comes and is available to me. I have many friends and especially family members, those of an older age who are very high risk, whom I live close to and live with, that are that COVID-19 can be very hazardous to and are very high risk. And I want to do all that I can and all that is in my capability on my part to protect them from contracting this virus. Over the past year, the year of 2020 and now going into 2021, the world has gone through this dark period in our history with this deadly virus that, while we have seen before, we haven't seen to this degree. And I want to do all that I can on my part to help protect them from contracting the virus, the rest of the world, as well as myself. Now that we've been able to come up with some ideas and science has become able to create a safe vaccine for everybody to take, now that we have been able to come up with this rapid solution, we have the ability to keep everyone safe and protected. Today I'm going to talk to you about why I believe everybody who is able to get the COVID-19 vaccination should get it when it is available to them. COVID-19 became known to our population back in early 2020, as a virus starting in China. What is COVID-19? According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's website, we learned that COVID-19 is a new disease caused by a novel or new coronavirus that has not previously been set in humans. According to the CDC, we learned that COVID-19 was discovered in Wuhan, China, and it has been suggested that the virus might have began and originated from a market in that area of the world. Other research of COVID-19 suggests that visitors, such as tourists, might have introduced the virus to the market, which then began rapid expansion of this new virus. The virus, once we found it and it leaked, we have since learned that each infection results in 5.7 new ones when not a single member of that community is immune and no preventative measures are to be taken. Where did we come up with the name COVID-19 from this deadly respiratory-borne virus? According to the CDC.gov, we learned that on February 11, 2020, the World Health Organization, WHO, made the first time announcement that this new outbreak of the disease would be then referred to and named the coronavirus, with COVID-19 as an abbreviation. The CO standing for corona, the VI standing for virus, and the D standing for disease. This is different from when it was originally called in the 2019 novel coronavirus, or also previously known as 2019 nCoV. Now that we have a better understanding of where COVID-19 came about and how we were able to understand it better and get the name of what we have now, COVID-19, coronavirus, let's take a deeper look into the process of how we came to know and have a vaccine to protect us and what science has taught us so far. The road to getting a vaccine was definitely a long one, but in a very short period and amount of time. According to Johns Hopkins University's research, we learned that the fact that we got a vaccine for this disease has created a global pandemic in under a year was definitely no less than an incredible feat. The fastest vaccine that has ever been developed was back in the 1960s with the mumps vaccine, which took a total of 4 years to develop, in contrast to our less than a year operation now. When COVID-19 came into light, research began right away with the drawing board on how they could develop a safe and effective vaccine. This typically takes around 10 to 15 years to create. This is because the complexity and development of a vaccine and creating a vaccine. When in the midst of the global pandemic like COVID-19, and it became as real as it quickly did, time was no longer something to be played with. During the President Donald J. Trump presidential administration, Donald Trump signed an executive order to create Operation Warp Speed, which was an agreement between pharmaceutical agencies as well as the federal government. The operation had the goal to mobilize the vaccine as quickly as possible, with the federal government establishing $10 billion in federal funds towards that vaccine so we could put this pandemic to an end. Now we've learned about the road to a vaccine for COVID-19, as well as how we were able to get a vaccine so quickly as we did. Now, why is it important that we get the vaccine when it is our turn to do so? Let's talk about the benefits of having the COVID vaccine, of receiving the COVID vaccine when it is ready and available to you. We learned from the previous portion of my message for you, of which this vaccine was developed so very quickly. And many people might be hesitant to the vaccine at first due to that fact of how quickly it took to finish and complete. According to the kent.ac.uk, talking about reasons why we should get the COVID-19 vaccine, we learned that just because of its rapid development does not make it any less safe. The purpose of the Operation Warp Speed, or in essence, the quick time it took to get done, Operation Warp Speed, was to get it done as quickly as possible while still delivering a quick and safe vaccine that is effective. There was no shortage of money, participants for the trial, but we were just lucky enough that this vaccine worked in the matter of time it did. A miracle, if I say so myself. Another reason why it might be scary to receive the vaccine to some people is that some believe the vaccine might contain COVID-19 and mess with one's DNA. This was one of the first assumptions of the virus, was that it would mess with our DNA, as well that it might even have COVID-19 within it. The whole purpose of the vaccine is to create an immunity to the disease, not inject it into one's body. The last thing I would like to mention is that the disease is what we have found kills those who have died from COVID-19, not the vaccine. So it is only the disease that can kill you, the COVID-19 germ that will kill you, but the vaccine is meant to stop that. According to healthblog.org, we learned that the vaccine, based on the effects of those who were part of the trial, is effective and protects 9 out of 10 people diagnosed with COVID-19. Being the respiratory illness that it is, it can kill you if your immune system is weak enough. But with the vaccine helps strengthen your immune system to protect it against COVID-19. Now that we've discussed the origin of COVID-19, where it's come from, and how we understood and created a name for it, how we were able to get a vaccine so quickly thanks to the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed, and the benefits and reasons why we should all receive the vaccine when it is available to us, I hope that what I've done is sparked something within each of you and each of your interests to start considering how it could help you and how it could help your loved ones. In conclusion, we now discuss the COVID-19 pandemic, what we've gone through as a society, and what our foreseeable future looks like. Now we've also talked about how we can protect ourselves from it. I hope that from the points that I've brought up and mentioned, you have found that you are now considering what decision you might make when it comes your time to receive the vaccine, when it is available to you. According to kent.ac.uk, like I've mentioned before, we're taught that vaccines will not resolve all of our COVID-19 problems. We may not go back to normal for quite some time, but these vaccines will enable us in the long term to progress to a new normal without the current strict restrictions of 2020 and 2021. This is all that we hope for, and we hope that we can get back to a normal state of life as soon as we possibly can, and hopefully get to a new state of life from what we missed in this past year. I hope that was able to convince all of you, whether you are already planning on receiving the vaccine or not, that you are now able to think on your own on how this could be beneficial to you and to others. Because I know that this is the one way that we can make life a little bit more normal and more normalized, one step at a time. We can all make a difference, just one vaccine at a time.